Some Disneyland Paris tips we unfortunately have to learn the hard way. Some are given to us, and others we just happen to stumble across. No matter how we figure them out, I'm going to give you some new ones. What do you do if the Disneyland Paris app glitches or goes down completely? Well, you are going to need a plan B. The app is so useful whether you're in the parks or just in the planning stages of your trip. Not only is the map super handy and convenient, as you don't have to worry about keeping a paper one dry and in one piece, but it also displays the ride queue times in real time, or if a ride is currently down or closed. The map also displays the locations to meet and greets. You can make or check on your restaurant reservations, place your mobile orders for the quick service restaurants, purchase individual fast passes for rides, and also make those virtual queue reservations for the superhero meet and greets in the Avengers campus. But what do you do if you're in the park and for whatever reason you can't get into the app? You're going to have to go old school. If you're new and unfamiliar with the parks and unsure how to navigate around them, then it's probably worth inquiring at guest services or one of the gift shops to see if they have any maps available. If not, just take your time, head into each individual land and enjoy discovering what's in there. With regards to knowing what wait times are for rides, again, it's going to be old school and will require you to walk up to each individual ride and check the wait time at the entrance of the queue. A super handy tip though for your restaurant reservation booking information is to take a screenshot of your booking reference number and reservation details. This tip is super handy if you can't get into the app or for whatever reason you're unable to connect to any Wi-Fi. As this happened to us once in the Disney Village, and we're checking in for a meal at Billy Bob's and just couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. Luckily I'd taken a screenshot of the reservation and was able to show the cast member, so there was absolutely no need to panic. If you haven't made any restaurant reservations on the app anyway, it is still worth walking up to the restaurant old school and seeing what availability they do have. Unfortunately for quick service restaurants though, you are just going to have to queue and wait it out. Now, plan B isn't ideal, but it is going to help you get the job done. Maybe start your day by meeting a character, instead of racing over to the more popular rides such as Big Thunder Mountain in Frontierland, Peter Pan's Flight in Fantasyland, Space Mountain in Discoveryland, Crush's Coaster in the Walt Disney Studios. And I'll stop listing now as all the rides are popular anyway and I'll end up just listing them all. Maybe consider a different way to start your park day, which is going to be just as much fun, and that is to meet Stitch. Located at the end of Main Street next to Casey's Corner, Stitch is the only character to meet during Extra Magic Hour, and so early on during the day, when other character meets start at around 10:30 in the morning. We do this at least once during our visits to Disneyland Paris, and it always ends up being one of the cutest and funniest things we do during that day. Stitch is always such a super fun character meet and one of my personal favourites. Plus, his queue during the day can become mega long. So meeting Stitch is just a really fun and alternative way to start your Disney day. So, there's a right time to get in line for rides, a wrong time to get in line for rides, and very, very wrong times that you probably want to avoid. For example, Crush's Coaster. You might think it's going to be a really good idea to head straight over to Crush's Coaster as soon as the gates open, even at the very start of Extra Magic Hour. But so does everyone else who is heading into the Walt Disney Studios. I remember on our last trip alone, heading towards Crush's Coaster literally minutes after the first guests arrived for Extra Magic Hour, and the queue for Crush's Coaster was already well over an hour wait. So we quickly turned on our heels and headed over to Tower of Terror, which showed a wait time of 13 minutes, meaning that the ride was a walk-on. So instead of heading over to Crush's Coaster, you may want to consider some of the other rides within the Walt Disney Studios park, such as the Tower of Terror, Spider-Man's Web Slingers, and RC Racer, for example, as these wait times will be a lot lower because everyone else is waiting for Crush's Coaster. Another tip would be head over to the main park and to complete the Fantasyland circuit early on. The queue for these smaller rides, especially Peter Pan's Flight, can get pretty lengthy considering these are smaller rides than the other big white knuckle rides. And don't forget that Mickey has his own meet and greet towards the back of Fantasyland. So once you've completed all the rides in Fantasyland, why not hop in line to meet the main mouse himself? Now this isn't a new tip from me, but it is something I'm considering doing really soon, and that is to take a solo trip to Disneyland Paris. If you are someone that loves Disney, but the rest of your family not so much, this could be the answer for you. Going with a group of people can be so much fun, but going solo can also be just as much fun. Number one, you get to take advantage of all the single rider lines. It's not always guaranteed to be a shorter wait, but most of the time it will be. You will get to stay in whatever hotel room you want and stay somewhere that meets your personal needs, as availability options change as your group gets bigger and the price also gets larger. Secondly, you get to set the pace. Want to do something? Go do it. Don't want to do something? Skip it. You don't have to plan your day to please everybody when you're on a solo trip. The only person you have to worry about having a good time is you. You're calling all the shots. Snacks at Disneyland Paris are brilliant, but they're not on the same level as what you would expect from Walt Disney World or Disneyland California. You're not going to find oversized snacks, huge turkey legs, or refreshment carts placed every 50 feet. But don't despair, Disneyland Paris does have some wonderful treats. Head over to the March Hare, located just behind the Mad Hatter's Teacup ride in Fantasyland, for some incredible and enormous ice creams. Be prepared to wait, as these are extremely popular, especially on those hot Parisian days. But believe me, they are worth the wait, and if you're not a big eater, then they are definitely big enough to share. Sticking with the ice cream theme, over in the Walt Disney Studios, you are going to find those amazing themed magnums that are definitely worth treating yourself to. What sets Disneyland Paris apart from all of the other Disney parks is that you are able to enjoy a lovely glass of champagne from the end of Main Street whilst looking at Sleeping Beauty's castle. And it also comes in a lovely souvenir glass. Now, when you happen to walk past a crepe stand, these are unmissable and you will definitely want another one. And let's not forget, Disneyland Paris will allow you to take food into the parks. So you could always take your own snacks and then top up with those amazing Disneyland Paris ones. Remember to keep checking in for new tips and for ones that you may just have forgotten about. If you did find this video useful, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and please consider subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.